everybody, and welcome to the Board Game Geek Show for January 18th, 2019. Happy New Year! I am once again joined by my lovely co-hosts, Lincoln Damerst and Rodney Smith. W. Eric Martin is on assignment.
Where'd everybody go? Is it just us?
I know.
It's just us. Everybody's still celebrating and recovering from New Year. So
I think that is truly what's going on.
Yeah.
And football, probably.
Oh, don't even mention football. It's a sad story. Anyway, so we're going to keep the show pretty quick and light, limber today. First of all, I want to mention that BGG Spring registration is still underway. We are gearing up for it, and just last week we started inventorying games and getting ready to move some of the games into the storage flea market charity sale. So basically we're going to take a bunch of games from back storage and put them in a flea market type situation where you could buy them for very, very cheap prices. And all the money goes to charity. And the charity is Cafe Momentum, which is near and dear to my heart.
Cafe Momentum is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great charity that we donated money to last year. We raised around $16,000. And it all goes to the giving kids who have been through juvenile detention a job, and it teaches them all aspects of restauranteering.
A career.
Yeah, so basically kind of gives them a career. I think they get a year of training, and they train in every section. So it's very cool. And Chad Hauser, who is the steward of that charity, is a really great guy. And I'm hoping he'll be at the show again to talk about it with people. So look forward to that at BGG Spring, which is over Memorial Day weekend. May 24th to the 27th, I think. I'm going by my memory. Yeah, 2019 Memorial Day weekend. And it's going to be, once again, at the DFW Airport Hyatt Regency.
If I remember correctly, last time at BGG Spring, like after that market was over, you were still picking through there looking for things yourself, Scott.
Yes, I'm like a game addict or something. It's like I can never let a game go. Well, I think I actually did pick a couple things.
He wanted to buy the games that he already bought to put back into his library.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of really great finds in there. It is like, it's like going through a treasure trove because you never know what you're going to find in there. It's not all, not some of the games are newer, but a lot of them are older games that you're just not going to see for sale at your friendly local game store. And it's pretty fun to see what's in there.
Oh, I came home with far too many games. I think I took home 2 boxes worth of stuff from the library.
Well, you have a good excuse. It's supporting a great cause.
Yeah, Scott was like, I paid the higher price at one point because, the prices were dropping. I'm like, it's charity. I don't care.
Right. And if you'd like to make a donation and not buy games, you can do that too. We're basically turning all the cash into sending it right to them. So any dollar bills you have floating around at BGG Con that you're not spending on something else, please feel free to drop it by, and you can give it to us at the store if you don't want to go to the flea market. It was a bit crazy last year. I was really excited that people really dug it. It's 20 years of collecting games. So, and when I started collecting, I was going back to whenever I could find stuff. And now I'm not saying that those old games, I think we got rid of a lot of those older games last year. So this year will probably be a lot of newer games that people might recognize a little easier. But it's all going to be great stuff. I mean, we have a lot of games.
And there's some other conventions coming up too, right? Nuremberg and Con, right? Is around the corner for you guys?
Right. The it's called the Spielwarenmesse in Nuremberg 2019, and then the Festival International des Jeux in Cannes for 2019. They're both one of them's near the end of January, and the other's the end of February.
Right. So you're back and forth to Europe 2 times in the next 2 months.
I know. I wish they were closer together because I would just stay if it was like a week apart. But I got to fly. I got to fly twice. 4 times.
I wonder if there's anything we could assemble in Germany. Maybe do a game night in Germany or something to tide us over.
I know.
That is a long time though, so it's kind of a bit of be like a month, right? Like kind of both at the ends.
I think it's just under 3 weeks. It's from. I think I get back on the 5th of February, and I leave again on the 18th. So it's only 2 weeks separate difference there. Because we do have to set up. We get into Cannes. We're leaving from the West Coast, and get in on Tuesday, and then we have to set up on Wednesday to go live on Thursday for the Professionals Day, which is of course, like at Essen, it's the best day where it's the quietest, and you could get the best videos done. So hopefully, we schedule some of the more intricate demos on that day so that you can hear everything. Although we're using the new microphones, so.
Yes, those new microphones with the lanyard. That was like whoever came up with that lanyard idea.
That was me, but
Beth?
that was thankfully
it was you.
to Beth bringing those lanyards. She brought them because she wanted to put keys on them. I'm like, oh, we should put the mics on there because then you could adjust it up and down the lanyard. So if people want to see how much better that sound was, look at days 4 and 5 of our Essen coverage, because the first 3 days, all we heard is complaints about how noisy it is. And it's insanely noisy at the convention, and you just can't get around it.
Yeah,
but
it's just deafening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had these like little shotgun mics that were sitting out so that people didn't have to put a lav mic on and off. Like I'm wearing one right here, but the problem is every time someone comes to sit down, you got to put a microphone on them, you got to get it from them when they're done. And it was going to be this big hassle. But the lanyard, we just attached it to a lanyard, and they just threw it over their head. It was perfect. It was a great fix.
Yeah, we had the pack attached to the lanyard and the microphone, so it was a quick change out. It worked out pretty good, and the sound is infinitely better.
Yeah, much better. Well, I hope you guys have good success over at those trips too, then, because you'll be dealing in the new environment, so you'll have to set up there, and hopefully everything works good as well.
Well, Nuremberg is quiet. It's the quietest convention I think I've ever been to, but except for like they have some people like barking stuff that was just marketing kind of fun stuff, but but Cannes is noisy because it's a very public convention. A lot of people come. We actually had troubles the final day with some hooligans trying to get on camera and goof around, and we're like, and so it was Matt Dunstan, Nikki, and I all like looking like, what's going on? We don't speak French, and so it was pretty hilarious. So thankfully some other guys came in and drove the guys off. It was pretty funny.
What do you mean,
It was all a bunch of teenagers.
Like a bunch of young kids?
Lincoln calls kids. It was kids.
They were yes, they were
kids.
preteens or teens. Yeah, they were having a good time.
Yeah, trying to get a little screen time.
They were just being goofy, right? And we're like, we're trying to do our thing. We're live streaming, so we didn't want to like be yelling at them or anything like that. And thankfully, I think there was an escape room behind us that got them out of there because they were being noisy too. And
They went and trapped them in the escape room for an hour.
Yeah, that's right. You had to lock them up. The bell ringing in the background in the escape room.
Yeah, hopefully that bell is disabled this year.
No, the escape room's not there this year, thankfully.
Oh, good. So all those, the Nuremberg's not going to be live streamed, but Con Festival is Game Festival. So check that out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/BoardGameGeekTV. And also, I'd like to make an announcement that we have a big announcement, sort of. I mean, it's sort of exciting and sort of like not exciting. I don't know. We're basically creating I don't know. It's just a utilitarian announcement, I guess, for the channel. Board Game Geek channel is splitting off to another YouTube channel called BoardGameGeek Express. So that channel will feature all of our convention coverage. So all the videos we take at conventions, and we're doing like 250 per convention now, which is just insane. Like we're doing 50 videos a day. And that's a bit of a flood for a normal YouTube channel. So we don't want to flood you guys with those videos on the main Board Game Geek channel. So we're creating this offshoot channel called Board Game Geek Express. Please go subscribe right there if you want to get access to all those convention videos as they come out. Now we're going to put a lot of videos on that channel, so be prepared. But I know a lot of people like to watch it on the feed. So subscribe to that. And if you don't care about convention videos, you've now got the Board Game Geek channel without the convention coverage mixed in. So we're just going to have our produced content here, Board Game Geek Show, I'm drawing a blank on all their names, Game Night, Table Talk Back, Hodgepodge, Color Your World, all the shows that we've created will just be on this channel now.
Who's playing what now?
We've have so many. It's really, I'm having a hard time coming up with all of them on the fly here. But so you'll see all those BGG here. Games. Yeah. I know.
It's nice, though. It'll be the best of both worlds, right? Because if you want to watch everything, you can just subscribe to both channels. But if you would prefer to see the convention coverage, you can just subscribe there, or subscribe to the other one if you prefer some of the other more, structured programming, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea behind it, right? Yeah, and hopefully that'll give people choices.
Absolutely. So we're excited to announce. I'm really excited to announce that, right? Like it wasn't. I didn't mean to downplay it at the beginning, but we're just splitting off some of the coverage that we do.
Well, people have been asking that we break Game Night off forever, and I'm like, well, that's kind of not the point of the channel. And now that we are doing more conventions, it makes a lot of sense anyway.
And we were kind of trickling it out as little dribs and drabs of videos, whereas it's hard to publish 250 videos all at once, but now we can because I mean, it won't be all at once, but it'll be 25 a day or something like that potentially.
Yeah, it'll come out much quicker, and we won't have stuff in the. I mean, there are reasons some games hold off before being released. Sure. I think it has to do with the games being on BoardGameGeek themselves and stuff like that, and agreements with the publishers. But for the most part, we just want to get them going so that there's nothing still coming out as we get to another convention, which that will definitely be happening because of Nuremberg. There's such a tiny window to process those videos, and then we got Cannes right after that, and then we've got Gamma another month later. So not even a month later. Gamma's like 2 or 3 weeks after Cannes, so it's crazy. The first 3 months are definitely rough.
Yeah, it's been nice to have a little time off, but it's going to be crazy ramping back up into it. There you go. So let's go into everybody's favorite segment. What have you been playing, Rodney? What have you been playing?
Well, I've got a little game I've been playing. I'm going to botch a number of things about it. First of all, the pronunciation. Piepmatz? Piepmatz? Piepmatz?
I like Piepmatz.
I think it's Piepmatz, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it has a little subtitle called Little Songbirds, so I'm assuming that's what this means in English, Little Songbirds.
Oh, the Board Game Geek won the InnoSpots award. So maybe that's in the InnoSpots was something to do. Their mascot is like a Tweety bird or something, like a little robin.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, this is by a couple of my favorite designers. This is from Matt Riddle and Ben Pinchback, and it's a card game. So the other thing I'm going to mess up here is trying to explain to you how this game works, because this is one where I read the rules, and the rules weren't confusing by any means, but I couldn't quite figure out, okay, but what am I doing? Like, how am I trying to win in this game? And I think it's the kind of game that you do need to get 4 or 5 rounds under your belt, and then you go, oh, I understand. Again, not because the rules aren't clear, but just because it's hard to know, why am I trying to do this versus that? What's driving the choices? Sometimes you
gotta avoid those squirrels, man.
That's right, there's squirrels. So the idea, I'll just give you a quick overview. There's a little perch here, and you're gonna have birds that sit on either side of the perch, and there's all these beautiful bird art that comes in the game. And if you've seen Wingspan that released recently, we've got another bird themed game here, although this did come out before that one. But I'm a big fan. It's funny, when Wingspan released, I saw a lot of people going, who's looking for a bird themed game? I am looking for a bird themed game. I like birds. What's wrong with beautiful
and Nikki
artwork?
Too.
Yeah, and it's nice to have something different as well as a theme to explore. But ultimately, you're going to be having you're trying to collect sets of these birds. There's a variety of, let's call them suits, different colors here, right? And then you have male and female versions of the birds. So if you can collect a pair of male and female of the same color and same value, that's going to give you some points. Having the most of a suit or type of bird will allow you to score that bird. So if at the end of the game, I've got the most yellow, I'm going to get a point for all the little eggs showing here on those cards. But if you don't have the most yellow, you're not going to score anything for them. So there's that little bit of a tug-of-war fight. When you see somebody else, you've both got the same amount, you're always just trying to edge ahead so that they're worth something. Otherwise, they're worth effectively nothing. And they're also trying to collect seeds. There's these little seed cards on the bird feeder. So you have birds sitting up, lining up, ready to have a little snack, and you play cards from your hand, which will then allow you to collect seeds from the bird feeder, and then collect birds from the bird feeder, and sort of move the birds who are waiting on the ground up to the feeder. But the catch is, when you play a card, you're not getting that bird. So you might have in your hand what you want, but you've got to play it and time it so that later on you can collect it. You're never collecting specifically the card you're just playing, which creates a little bit of a challenge, because by looking at your hand, you have a sense of what you have and what you might be able to accomplish. But other people might try to collect those birds as well once you put them out there. Have you guys played this game before?
Yes, I played it in October. I really, really love it.
I haven't got a chance to yet.
Yeah, when I was playing it with my wife, Christy, I was teaching her, and I was like, honey, I'm not sure what's going on here yet. I don't know what we're doing. Let's just play a first game and not worry about it. About halfway through the game, things started to click, and I was like, oh, I get it. I see where the tension is here, trying to collect the sets. I'm seeing the pattern of how when I place this bird out here, I got to time it right so I can collect it later. The values matter. What about you, Lincoln? When you first played it, did everything sort of click into place right away, or did it take a little bit of time, or what was it like for you?
I won the game the first game we played, and I think about a quarter of the way through, the biggest issue is you need to see what other people are doing and where they're going. That once you see like what they have in their hands and what they are hoping to gain, then you can structure your turns and place on the side that, oh, this is going to be a safe side because they're not going to want to go here. Because we were playing a 3-player game, so there were 2 perches. Is there a single perch in a 2-player game?
In a 2-player game, there's 2 perches. I think in what is it? It's in a 4-player game, you have 3 perches.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other fun thing is the squirrels and the crows.
Yeah, I got those right here.
Like the timing and like I think I had Henning his seeds. He just kept losing his seeds, and I lost none of my seeds. So I had that bonus going on. Plus, I was able to take enough of the other suits to win. And it's very, very clever and just really charming. Nikki loves the art, just loves it, and it is really nicely done.
Yeah, I mean the theme I wouldn't say is like its strongest suit. I love the theming of it. I love the artwork and the perch and everything. But oftentimes when I'm playing, I'm thinking more about the numbers and how do I make the numbers work. But I love that the squirrel and the crow, of course, you got to feed her out. They're going to show up and they're going to try to take some of it, right? And sure enough, they try to steal your seeds. So there is where the theme can connect, it does for sure. And this is published by Lookout Spiel.
Right.
So available now, as I understand it.
I just ordered a copy, so yes, it is available.
Did you just order it right now?
Yes, just now.
Okay. We got to give Scott enough time to actually order the games, but
yeah. No, I ordered it a week ago.
I think that I saw that game at Nuremberg last year. I know I saw that at Nuremberg last year. And I'm not sure when I think it came out over the summer or late summer, early fall. Because I did buy it before Essen. But it is really, really great. And I'm happy because now it's Asmodee, and so the availability is going to be much, much better. And there was the big struggle last year with all the Lookout titles being available. Now that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, they have a slew. Lookout has a slew of games that just come out. The Caverna expansion, Ifis Road expansion. Oh, no, that's Z-Man. Sorry. Confusing it all. It's hard to keep it all in track, man. So I've been playing AuZtralia. Was that a pretty good? Was that a pretty good accent? I don't know. AuZtralia. Yeah, and it's fantastic. It's a Martin Wallace game, but it's very not Martin Wallace. I don't know. Martin Wallace is so he's so diverse, so maybe it is just Martin Wallace. But I guess the best way to describe it is we played a little differently than the rules. We played a variant. We played the fully
Maybe that's why it didn't
version.
seem like a Martin Wallace game.
Maybe. I don't know. We played a variant, but the variant is in the rulebook. Anyway, it's a Rails game where you're fighting Cthulhu. And you in AuZtralia.
Okay.
So
what does it have to do with the Study in Emerald?
I never played Study in Emerald, so I have no idea. But
because
I don't know.
There's
People
supposedly some connection.
There might be. It's Cthulhu. I don't know. I never played Study in Emerald.
It's sort of like, isn't it kind of like the follow up in terms of the storyline? Like
it might be.
This
but
is
it's
now sort of the
game.
aftermath.
Yeah, it's kind of a war game. It's not a war. I don't know. It's very weird. Let me give you the quick overview. So we played the pure co-op version. So there's a semi-cooperative version where you all have to win to survive. Otherwise, the monsters will come destroy all of you. So you have to kind of work together a little bit. Pure co-op version, every player has to beat Cthulhu's score. So if Cthulhu scores 25, everybody has to score higher than that to win. So unfortunately, in our game, I scored less than Cthulhu, so we did not win, but the other two guys did. So you're building rail system, and you're planting farms, farms are like corn and sheep and cattle. And you're collecting money, and then you're turning that money into military units that you're then sending out against the forces of Cthulhu in the outback of Australia. There's also a whole bunch of special character cards that give you special powers, and you're just fighting. And it's sort of a war, like a fighting war game, right? You're fighting against the monsters. And there's a very cool battle system in there. Like, only artillery units are good against temples. There's this kind of like rock, paper, scissors war game-esque type thing. And so you're doing this battle, and there's a sanity mechanism in there. So if your troops go crazy, they'll retreat, right? So you can't just sit there and fight to the death every time. You might just have to retreat. but it's very clever, and it's got the time track mechanism, which I don't know if you guys remember. My favorite.
Your favorite thing?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Yeah, like everything you do takes time, and then Cthulhu uses his time, right? And so he's activating monsters, and the monsters have this neat movement thing where they just kind of randomly move, but it's a system, right? So you're flipping cards over to determine.
Right,
And
so
then
no one's playing as Cthulhu, right? That's totally being done by
it's
the
an
game's
automated
artificial intelligence or whatever.
It's an automatic system. All the monsters
Okay.
will like start walking around, and they'll just ravage anything they come across, right? So if you've got a farm just sitting there, it's like boom, farm's gone, and Cthulhu will score points for ravaging farms, right? So any units of Cthulhu's left on the board, plus the farms he ravaged, plus I forget maybe some other points he gets, versus your points of how many units you killed of theirs, how many farms you built that aren't ravaged. Special characters give some special in-game scoring, and then you compare scores. And if Cthulhu, in this version of the game, if Cthulhu has the higher score, everybody loses. So you have to basically like look at each other and be like, you need to go kill more units, right? You can't just sit there and turtle and do nothing in the game. You have to really actively go hunt the monsters. So really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would like the semi-cooperative version, because basically you're in it. The game entices you to put monsters on other people's farms, or other people's area. So you're like, here, you go deal with that, and the monster will actually start walking around the board and like, blowing stuff up. So I don't know if I would like that. Maybe I would.
So it's a little meaner. It's a little meaner, right?
It's a little meaner, yeah.
than
I
the
think
version.
so. I mean, I haven't played it, but when you say semi-co-op, that's always means you have to work together because the game forces you to. But really, there's only one winner. So
Right.
AuZtralia by Martin
AuZtralia.
Wallace. Yeah.
I'm very keen
good.
to give that one a try. I have a copy of it, and it's one I'm very interested in. I never played A Study in Emerald, but I really have been turned on by a lot of the games that Martin Wallace that I've played recently by him. I'm kind of late to the game when it comes to Martin Wallace. I think London 2nd Edition was my first Martin Wallace game, and there's been no looking back since then.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big backlog of games that are all, every Martin Wallace I've played is pretty great. Study in Emerald, though, has got a hidden roll system, so I'm not sure why the comparison, but maybe there's some aspect to it.
It might just be thematically linked.
Well, Study in Emerald was based on a short story by
Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman, right? Yeah, and so I don't want to spoil it, but there's kind of a cool twist in there. It's a Sherlock Holmes kind of story with Cthulhu, but it takes maybe half-hour read, so go read it. It's awesome.
What about you, Lincoln? Anything you've been playing lately that you want to talk about?
We did not. Well, we've played some new games, but they've been discussed recently. So I will mention that we played. Well, first thing, this weekend I spent time fixing the Donkey Kong cabinet in the corner of the GameNight studio. It's been working all along, but the monitor colors were fading, and the machine is 38 years old, so it's the capacitors were drying up. So we replaced them this weekend, and then it looked brighter, but the colors were still off. And then my friend Sean, who really did the heavy lifting on the whole thing, he came over with a test generator, and we were able to adjust all the. He stopped. He was so quick. I thought, oh, he's just monkeying with things. And he's like, he takes the connector off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks exactly like it did when we first got the machine. Because I've had it for 22 years, I think I've had the machine. So it's great. But I did play the networks from Gil Hova and Formal Ferret Games, which I had been trying to get to the table for game night for a long time. Aaron is the master of the game, and he loves it. It's his copy of the game that's been here in the studio. He no longer lives here in Los Angeles, so we kept waiting for him, and we finally got it to the table, and it was fantastic. It's really, really fun, where you are all these kind of low-rent networks trying to schedule your programming, and it has a bit of a feeling of Trome Fabrique, but none of the auction mechanism. You're just buying what you can. You have you have actors that you can get. You have advertising that you can sign up. You have the shows themselves based on they're different dramas or comedies or sports. And so you get bonuses for trying to focus on a specific type of content. And then they have special action cards that let you fiddle with the game mechanisms as you go. And it is really, really fun. It was a very surprise. I mean, I knew the game was great, but I was surprised how much I really enjoyed it.
So each player is managing a network, TV network?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And you really start with a terrible network, right? Like you have no good programming. You've got no stars, nothing.
Yes.
And everything's very comical, right? The artwork's kind of got a whimsy to it, almost like what would you call it? Like kind of a 1950s cartoonish.
Yeah, it definitely
60s,
looks like 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really well done. I mean, I knew. And Aaron had been talking about, because he backed it on Kickstarter and was really excited about doing it. And then not too long later, he moved. And he had left it here to play it. And when he came down one other time, I'm like, well, your game's still here. Let's, but we had some other things we needed to film. And we don't have Aaron here enough, really, to film. But it was great. We finally got it in.
Well, it sounds like we had 3 solid title recommendations for this episode. We all played something that we enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. So resident news guy W. Eric Martin is on assignment, so I dug up a little bit of news off the blog this week. So guess what, guys?
What happened?
Asmodee acquired another company.
What?
Oh.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say they let one go. It would be a twist.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting. Do you think
they released
would
one back into the wild?
Gosh, yeah. Do you think they would ever like sell a piece? I don't know. That's an interesting question there, Rodney. No, they acquired the Bezzerwizzer company.
The who what
which
now?
Actually, the name of the company is not the Bezzerwizzer company. It's Bezzerwizzer Nordic. So I don't know if you guys ever played Bezzerwizzer. It's kind of it's been around for a bit.
Really?
We
no,
actually gave them away at BGG Con, like I think the first or second BGG Con. We got like 50 copies from Hasbro. It is a really popular trivia game in Europe, like very, very popular. Yeah, it's called Bezzerwizzer. I guess there was a show about it too. I'm not sure about the show, but I think that's something that's part of it. Yeah, it's a really cool trivia game. It's got like 15 categories, at least the version I played. I think they may have offshoot. Had a couple offshoots that basically had some different types of games, but primarily it's a trivia game. So they acquired Bezzerwizzer Nordic.
How many studios is that now?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's their 14th studio acquisition, and so I was gonna quote Eric and say, 14 studios. Most game companies don't even have 14 titles.
No kidding.
So yeah. I'm curious how many game titles they have. If you add it all up.
So will that Bezzerwizzer game become more widely available in North America now? Is that part of the plan, or? Yeah,
it looks like they're going to bring it around back. I mean, it came out in America back in I think 2005. BGG Con, the first one or the second one, and I guess it didn't hit as big as like a trivia game might here in America, like a Trivia Pursuit. So it kind of came and went, but yeah, it looks like Asmodee's going to bring it back. I had a lot of fun playing it at Christmas with the in-laws, and
oh wow,
it's got a very wide variety of categories, right? So if you're not good in one category, you might be good in another. At least that version of the game that I played. So it's pretty cool, and hopefully it'll be more. The problem with trivia games is they have to be updated, because otherwise they get dated. Like I've got some old Trivial Pursuit stuff, and I can't answer any of it because it's just so dated. You're like, maybe if I grew up then, or that.
Or you get the ones that are so deep. It's like one subject, like I played the Beatles one, and I love the Beatles. And I know considerable amount about the Beatles, and I was terrible at that game. There's so much knowledge that you would not know, and they really dig deep on those categories. And I think the Harry Potter game has the same level of insanity. So you'd have to be a really, really knowledgeable person to do well. But obviously it needs to be challenging, so that's the point of they're picking up very, very obscure facts. So
there's a sweet spot, though, isn't there, for trivia? I mean, if you're thinking about the majority of people who are going to sit down and play these kinds of games, you want a few deep ones, but I think when most of them get deep, I'm like, who's this for? Were the people making this just trying to prove how clever they were? Because I could make a whole bunch of really difficult questions just by Googling deep into, like, I don't know, Wikipedia over facts, but is that fun?
The other day they had the Star Wars HQ trivia, and oh my gosh, there were some crazy things. And it's another subject I seem to know a lot about, and I think I was out on question 7, and I think that went to 15. So that shows you how far off I was on that one. It was definitely not even close. They'd asked about the name of the song that the Cantina Band plays in the first Star Wars movie, and I had no idea there was actually I can't even remember what it was, like Memories of Me or something like that. It was a weird self-referential title. I don't know, but I was like, wow, that's awesome. But wow, that's so weird.
Do you guys know the trivia game that asks you like 5 questions and then you have to link all the answers together, and then there's a meta answer. Have you heard of that? I think I want to say it's Link something, like Linkity or Linko or yeah. So Lincoln, it's called Linky.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
It's my game.
Yeah, that game is really great. I know Rich Summer used to do Linky live or not live, but yeah, on live call-ins, right? People would call in and he would ask them a Linky card. And so it's like 4 or 5 questions, and then each answer has a theme, and you have to guess what the theme is. So
right.
I like those.
You have to find the link.
Too. Yeah. Because that kind of, I don't know, if it's a team game, I think it was teams, right? So like one team would ask the other team those questions, and then they'd work together. So I think those kind of games need a little more exploration. There was another great one I think called Stage 2. The box was massive. I think it was Stage 2. So it would ask you like maybe like 10 really hard questions, and you'd have to kind of put them all together to the meta.
Wow.
On the backside. Yeah, it was really hard, like, and very dated. Like we played it, I didn't play it recently, but when I played it, it was so it was asking about TV shows of the time, and they're not the popular ones, right? It was like, who starred on blah, 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 just like, nobody had any clue with some of the answers. Like, so the pop culture really dates very quickly, right? So, yeah, unless it's like specific to a certain decade, then that might be fun. Like if you call it the 80s, whatever, or something, but like generic trivia of the time that sometimes is relevant, definitely 15, 20 years later is irrelevant. So nobody knows it.
There are some great trivia games. The thing is there are also a lot of terrible ones. So it's a dangerous minefield to dance through. Although I totally love the USAopolis of Animal House and what was the other one?
Caddyshack.
Oh yeah, Caddyshack.
Remember we played Caddyshack? We played Caddyshack for like 2 hours at BGG Con. So we're at BGG Con like a couple of years ago. We're kind of just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like we're just chilling. Like we should just play some Caddyshack golf trivia or whatever. It was so hard.
Yeah,
the questions are so hard. I mean, they're just insane.
It's hilarious though. They're really, really great.
Yeah. So there you go, Eric. We got a news item for you. A little bit of trivia game coming. They do party games too. Like so. Like might not just be Bezzerwizzer. Might be other stuff too. I'm excited. I like different takes on party games from like different, because American party games, they get stuck in a rut, and it's like you get the same kind of stuff. Everything now is against humanity or something, like a take on that apples to apples stuff. And it's like we need some innovation in the party game area.
I like when we have games that are popular elsewhere in the world that finally make it over to North America, because it means that the game, it's got its popularity for a reason, right? Like it's sort of established. Yeah. It's not so much of a gamble, and it's kind of interesting to see what are other people playing elsewhere that's really hot where they are that we just never get access to, right?
I've been dying to play Privacy forever, but it's only been in German. And right. USAopoly just did the new Privacy, but it's a little bit more risque. So I don't think it'll make a game night, but I definitely want to try it out. I have to get a copy of it.
I'm scared to play that. Have you seen the questions? They're pretty risque. So anyway, yeah, Privacy. So moving on to Kickstarter news, I picked out one this week. Actually, I have two. The first one is the deluxe version of Suburbia. Do you guys see that one?
Oh, yeah. I did see that. I kind of heard rumors of it, but crazy. Like I saw some game trays pictures. Today I saw the new updated artwork for the tiles, and it looks fantastic. Like vibrant artwork instead of what I remember being kind of like, I don't know, pastel-y, plain kind of colors, right?
Yeah. It was not... They were nice. It was nice art, but it didn't pop. Right. That is for certain.
Are they changing the rules? Do you know? Is it effectively the same game, but just now we're getting a nice deluxe version of it?
I thought it was just integrating the previous expansions plus the new Night Spots expansion or something like that.
Yeah. As of today, it's raised $162,000. And yeah, it says it's the deluxe upgraded components, game trays, and a new expansion. I guess what Lincoln just mentioned, Night Spots.
I'm excited they're actually doing a new version of the game. We played it on GameNight, and we did the Suburbia Inc. expansion at the time, and that was really quite cool. Definitely some people can spend a lot of time thinking about what's available and what they should play. So maybe choose your group wisely.
I have yet to play Suburbia, except I played it on the app. I haven't played it face-to-face. Played the app, which is also pretty good.
Yeah, I played Suburbia, I think a couple of times, but I didn't have a copy, and I really like seeing these new editions of, like, seeing Brass get re-released and seeing Suburbia get re-released, but getting them kind of refreshed the way that we're seeing in this gets me kind of excited, because I could go kickstart a game I know nothing about, or I could kickstart one that I already know is kind of established as a good game, but now quote unquote better, because it's getting like new artwork. It's maybe a little streamlining of rules sometimes happens. Power Grid, isn't Power Grid getting a new edition again too?
Yeah, they're getting recharged, so
Right.
It's going to integrate some of the elements from the Power Grid Deluxe, and then some of the stuff because of the Fabled expansion that they did last year and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I might have to back this one. I don't back a lot of Kickstarters, but this one has me interested.
Very cool. So I had one other Kickstarter that caught my eye. Lincoln and I were walking around the vendor hall, BGG Con, and we saw Onimaru, which I don't know if that's how to say it, but Japanese pronunciations. It's a Japanese demon battling game where it's cooperative, and each player is a character, right? So you have like all the archetypes, like the sword guy and the magic guy and all that stuff. It's also a dice rolling allocation game. So you roll your dice and you allocate it to your powers, you allocate it to your defenses, and it seemed like it had a lot going on. So lots of ways to beat the system. Looks like a pure co-op. Artwork's fantastic. I think that was the company Penguin and Panda. That's the name of the publisher.
Yeah, Jason. It's the same Jason Mon or something like that. He did Sweet Mess, and he pulled us aside to look at this new game, and it actually looks quite good. It's kind of like almost a fighting. It's a fighting game where you have these boards that you are affecting your character and stuff. Really nice production, actually, because it was a pre-production copy, and it looked very, very good already.
Yeah, artwork is pretty stunning. And it's like a Japanese setting with fighting demons, right? The Japanese demon thing. I forget what they're called.
And of course, everything's wonderfully organized with all these custom game trays. It looks like for a player, you have all your upgrades and things organized into a tray. It looks like the bosses and the enemies, they have their own organization. So I saw the page, it reminded me a little bit of the Reckoners. I don't know if it's similar in that way, but that also had dice allocation in it as well. I don't know if you played the Reckoners.
Not yet.
It's a cooperative game too, isn't it?
They're both cooperative, yeah.
Yeah, so the Onimaru are the demons. I just checked the names. So, yeah, the name of the game is the demons you're fighting. Looks great. I wish them success. Looks like they already have success, and you should check it out. I'm probably sure it will still be in funding right at this moment when this video goes live. So
cool.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Board Game Geek Show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to my lovely co-hosts, Lincoln Damerst and Rodney Smith.
A pleasure as always.
Yeah, it was great fun.
See you next time. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.